Hey guys, creator mom. So my HVAC thing is going off. I hope this sounds okay, but so yeah, so here we are a little bit more than 6 months down the road, and my van is having some sort of issue again. So Vanny Chronicles. My van's name is Vanny, and she is a 2008 Honda Odyssey. She's a good girl, but you know, she's got like 160,000 miles or so. Anyways, so my last issue with her was you know, kind of straightforward, although, you know, this one mechanic couldn't figure it out after several times. But anyways, she was having oil leaking. It was from the solenoid or whatever, and which apparently is right on top of the alternator. So that oil leak was damaging the alternator, so I had to get a new alternator and I had to get a new solenoid put in. And you know, so now here we are, what was yesterday? June 20th. And yes, it was very hot yesterday, but, well, maybe like it was like 90. I just, you know, I was talking with my friend about it, and she says, yeah, it's the extreme temperatures, you know, but, you know, the extreme cold or extreme heat. But it's just like, I don't know, it doesn't make complete sense to me that my car would just break down just because it's hot, you know? Like, what's the underlying issue? You know what I mean? Like, and I wasn't driving it for long either. I was simply driving from my house to the bank, which is a mile, probably a little bit less than a mile away. That's it. But the funny thing is that I got an oil change last Saturday. And now this week my car is acting up. So I'm like, what the hell, you know? It's just like, what is that about? I like to talk about it because talking about it helps me to, I don't know, put space between me and the thing. And it's funny because when I find myself in these challenges, I'm like, okay, what can I tell myself? I know what perspectives I like to choose. But I'll be honest with you, it doesn't stop the other parts from being aroused, if you know what I mean. Like, they're just like the overwhelm. The upset a little bit. Like, we have these parts. Like, my core self is like, no, this, you know, trying to talk your other parts into being calm, or like, everything's okay, you know what I'm saying? Everything always works out for me, which is true. It's just, but I feel like we struggle with these two parts, you know, the one that's kind of like freaking out, the feeling, right? The emotion of the situation. The core self is like, no, everything works out for me. Problems lead to solutions. This is good. Like, something's gonna get fixed. Maybe there's an issue going on that, you know, and you know, just trying to focus on the positive. Like, I was able to pull over in a safe spot. I'm safe. Everybody's safe. You know, all the good things. You know, problems lead to solutions. This is good. But no matter how much you speak that way, I feel like it doesn't make the other parts feel better. I think we have to acknowledge the other parts. We can't ignore the overwhelm or the upset. We have to acknowledge them and validate them as well, you know? Like how you would comfort somebody, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's what I just picked up actually right now. by talking and making this video. Yesterday I was upset because I was using AAA, and I got so mad, but I wasn't like acting out, but I was realizing, like, this is bullshit. And I remembered how bad AAA is at towing, because I have forgot I haven't used AAA. I never used AAA. My mom had AAA when I was young. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I feel like I remember waiting hours for AAA. Worst was they have a problem over there. I don't know what the problem is. What is their internal issue? And this really hit on my wound of like, I hate when people say they're going to do things and then they don't show up. It's untrustworthy, and that really fucking bothers me. Because they send me a text message saying, we'll be there in 25 minutes. 25 minutes and more goes by, nothing shows up. Then like freaking 30 minutes later, they're like, we'll be there in 38 minutes. Oh my God, another 38 minutes? Okay, fine, I could do it. Let me just wait. And another 40, more than 38 minutes goes by. You're calling AAA, and you gotta wait there too, because they don't pick up fast, you know? Oh, they'll be there at this time. Yes, I see that they're dispatched. They'll be there this time, right? First of all, every time I call AAA, they can't even find my case that I opened, you know? I'm like, what the hell? So, yeah, then they're like, they'll be there at 6:19. Okay, hustling, whatever, because I had to walk back home and walk over. Anyways, so then they're like, get there, nothing. They send me a text message, be there in 7 minutes. Oh, wow, okay, great. Literally 40 minutes goes by, no one's there. 7 minutes turned into 40 minutes and no one was there. Call again. They're like, oh yeah, can't find your, oh yeah, here it is. I'm like, how come everybody can't find my shit, you know, when I call in? I call in at 7. At this point, I'm waiting almost 3 hours, right? And then the lady goes, yeah, they'll be there at 8:30. I was like, I'm not waiting another hour and a half. And I felt nervous, because I'm like, you mean to tell me I'm going to sit here and wait another hour and a half, and then for somebody to say they are going to come in another hour, and then they don't even show up then? It's like, whoa, I got a problem with people not keeping their word. It's just like, hey, I would never recommend anybody buying, you know, the towing through AAA. I've used Geico, my insurance, get towing through them. Well, you know, they use whatever tow services. I never waited more than a half an hour, 40 minutes, something like that. And they don't send messages and messages. Oh, we're coming here. Oh, now we're coming there. No. When they send a message saying your tow driver is 20 minutes away, they're 20 minutes away, and they're going to be there. They don't send another one saying, oh, 38 minutes, oh, 7 minutes, and never show up. They don't do that shit. I couldn't believe it. Like, how are you going to tell somebody you're showing up and then you just don't even show up? Yo, I was like, that shit is so unprofessional. I can't even. How the fuck can you do that to people? Why is Geico, going through Geico, so much more quicker and better and more reliable than AAA? Like, AAA is supposed to be like the fucking OG of like road service. It's ridiculous. So anyways, I had to leave. I left. I said, you know, last time I spoke to somebody on the phone, I said, I'm going to leave my key, you know, under the mat, and he can just take the car. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait anymore. I gotta go. So, because I was afraid I would wait 4 hours and then fucking nobody would show up. But as soon as I approached my house, because I was in walking distance, I just didn't want to, like I said, I was a mile away. I just did not want to, you know, wait there and then nobody shows up. I was like, I gotta get home. As soon as I'm approaching my house, the tow guy calls me. Yeah, we're 15 minutes away. They had a tow driver come out from like farther in Kentucky. Like, you know, it's just like, I guess they couldn't get somebody local. Maybe they don't have that many dispatchers. I don't know. Just, they don't have that many. Maybe they're not connected with a lot of tows around here, but that's not the issue. The issue is they kept telling me that they were going to come in a certain amount of time and no one would show up. Then they would move the line. I don't like that. So anyways, worst tow service. So my car, what's going on there is that I go to the bank, but for some reason the ATM aisle or whatever was closed, so I had to park in the next one and then get out the car and use the ATM. So I shut my car off, because I had this weird feeling though that something was going to happen. So I get back in my car, turn it on, and it doesn't turn on. I'm like, what? No, it turns on and then it shuts off. So then I kept trying to turn it on and it would just shut off. I just waited a minute, then I turned it on, and it stayed on. So I was like, all right, let me move forward. So as soon as I moved forward, it was acting like it was going to quit. So then I pulled right into a parking spot at the bank still, and it quit. And then when it quit, the battery light and the oil light came on. And I was like, that's weird. So then I waited a bit, tried it again. Tried it about 5 times. It would turn on and then shut right off. Turn on, shut right off. So I waited, I tried it again, and then finally it turned on and it stayed on while it was idling. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm safe to at least drive straight home, you know, or whatever. So I risked it. I got out on the road. I was at this light that was this intersection, and I had to make a left. And the light was so long. I was like, no, oh my God. You know when you're having like car issues and the red light is like so long? So finally the light changed, and as I'm turning through the intersection, my car is like, you know, like it's about to shut down. I'm like, oh shit. So I push on the gas pedal to give it some energy or whatever, and then it like starts then it pushes me forward. It propelled me forward. I was like, holy shit. And I thought I was gonna have to pull into this bus stop, which I was like, shit, I don't want to pull into a bus stop, you know. But it was better than being stuck on the road. So I pulled over into the shoulder of the bus stop, and then I noticed and then it still was pushing me. So I was like, okay, let me keep going. So I kept going, and it was like, yeah, it kept acting like it was gonna quit. And then when I push on the gas, it would push me forward really hard. And then I was able to turn into this church parking lot, and that's where I stayed, because I was like, I'm not gonna get back on the road and have it do that, because I don't want to get stuck in the road and block traffic and shit for what, you know what I'm saying? It just wasn't worth it. I wasn't gonna do that. I just didn't feel comfortable doing that, you know, alone and everything. Nah. So I just stayed in the church parking lot, and that's where I was waiting for AAA. But yeah, the AAA guy said, oh, I thought it was a transmission issue, but what do I know, right? And AAA, the tow driver, was like, what's going on with the car? And I told him. He said, oh, I said, what do you think it sounds like? He said, it sounds like either an alternator or a battery issue, you know, like a power surge, because I was telling him how it was like pushing me forward. And another dangerous thing about it was, if I would have tried to drive it home, the way that the car was propelling me forward when I pressed on the gas was crazy. I could have, it propelled me so forcefully forward that if somebody is really close to me, like I could hit them, I could hit the back of them. So I thought my safest bet is just to stay here in the church parking lot and wait for the tow driver, you know. So anyways, I definitely would not, I don't know, I don't recommend AAA tow. They just not good. Geico has great, I don't know, maybe they're just connected with better tow truck drivers. So they got better, I don't know, better people. So yeah, and then I'm like, so if it's the alternator, I just got an alternator 6 months ago. I gotta look at my car receipts, I have them. And I'm like, I hope it's maybe it's just the battery's messed up, or maybe it's just something else, you know. But I'm like, it can't be the alternator. And I'm like, if it's the alternator and it's simply just faulty, then I'm like, I could probably take it back to Honda. Hopefully it's under some kind of warranty, you know, because it wasn't that long ago. And then I thought, man, if they changed my oil and then they got oil onto my alternator, like, I don't know if I think that's possible, and that wouldn't be cool at all. I'm like, if it's the battery, then that's cool, fine. But I don't know what the chances are that it's the battery that's the problem. I don't think, my battery is probably kind of old. Wait, I think I got a new battery, actually. Shit, I gotta look at my receipts. I'm like, I think I got a new battery at some point in time. So anyways, I won't find out what the issue is till Monday, because today's Sunday. But yeah, I was reading, you know, all I could do was Google some things. It says some might be the fuel injectors or spark plugs and coils maybe. But then I'm like, I had those changed not long ago either, and those are expensive. And they said, I was reading, they should last like 80 to 100,000 miles, and I'm like, I don't drive that much. So hopefully that's not the case. I'm very curious. Like, I want to know right now what the problem is. I'm going to have to become a fucking mechanic or something. Because, I don't know. So if you know somebody who's a mechanic, you're blessed. You know what I'm saying? If that somebody could call on and they could check you out and they have some knowledge. Knowledge is power. It really is. But, you know, it's not bad to use people either, but it's better if you have somebody you know and that's trusted. If you don't know it yourself, if you have somebody close to you that does, that's cool too. But, so I'm sitting here curious about what the actual issue could be. And so that's what's happening. That's what's happening with Vanny. And I know everything's gonna be okay. But you know how it is, the human condition. I don't like problems. I would rather everything work fine. That's what I would rather. I would rather everything go smoothly and never have a problem. That would be fantastic. But I was thinking this morning, I'm like, well, problems are doorways, you know? All right, everyone, I just wanted to share that.